You are all invited to the Aludo State de facto.
I've said Nobody is talking about the agreement and how Nigeria become a country from amalgamation to fake independence to today present Nigeria. They put it under the carpet because nobody have risen up to challenge them. Nobody have risen up to question the existence of Nigeria. Until now, we are questioning it under the Biafra government in exile. And we will question it with gun, we will question it with bomb, we will question it with civility, we will question it diplomatically, and we will question it politically. And that is the multi-dimensional approach. That thing they are avoiding to discuss, that particular existence of Nigeria or continuation of Nigeria, they have been avoiding to discuss, will be forced to discuss. They will be forced with the activities and the actions of the Biafra government in 2024. That's where we are going. That's why all these shenanigans, all this their regional government, all this nonsense you see happening are happening today. And they have not actually started hitting the point, because the point remains the continual existence of Nigeria as a country. They are not discussing it. What was the agreement of 1914? What was the agreement thereafter? Independent. What happened for after the 100 years of Nigeria? Nobody is discussing it. Our own British mandate terminated in 2014. That was when the British mandate terminated. When they say you have 100 years, after that we decide.
Said we declared on the 29th, but these people, they have an ulterior motive. They have an intention to disrupt our declaration on that is it second or third of
December 2nd.
December the 2nd.
Yes.
They have a master plan to disrupt that event on the 2nd.
Yes.
Oh.
And they plan to disrupt that by destroying all Batobie. That was their plan. They wanted to either one of the plans was to disrupt that event on that 2nd with so much chaos that the Finnish police will come in and just chase everybody away and disrupt everybody. That was one of the plans. The second plan they were planning with the Nigerian government is to somehow let Onyendu come out maybe a day before, be in Finland, come into the venue, declare on that day to render just to render so many things, to what they wanted that. But that didn't work out because they never liked Abatodie. They don't respect him. When he give rules, they don't respect him. These are people that they mob him on the back end. They cloud him. They destroy him. They put him in a position where the poor boy cannot even move, cannot talk. But he knows what they are made of. He knows their plan. But that has been their modus operandi for some time, for the years. So that's what they put him in such a tight corner that sometimes Odogu does something, you start to wonder, is this something, this decision coming from somebody like him? So that has been how they operate behind the scene. They don't respect him. They hate him so much. That is why even when he give an instruction, some of these other mediocres on the other aspect, on the other angle, be saying, oh, it is not from Obatobie, let him drop a voicemail. They don't believe him. They don't respect him. And Obatobie has been battling between this madness and the sanity of some people in this struggle for some time. But only God knows why what happened has happened. So it was those plans and it was those ploys that they planned and they wanted to execute. But thank God for the wisdom that is following most of the people in this cabinet, most of the Biafrans that are truly following Obatobie. And that was why we did what we did on the 29th. And wisdom. Some of them till today, they are not happy on what happened on the 29th. Even though they were happy that day, they were all jumping up. But because their paymasters and what they planned didn't come to fruition, they now all of a sudden do a 360 degrees to be back to the sad mode where some of them are now, It's all about Dr. Robeze online. It's no longer about Biafra restoration. It's no longer about United States of Biafra because their plot has failed and they've already been paid for that. So what they were paid to execute did not materialize. So they have to attack maybe me or some of us here to get more money to continue doing what they were doing. So it was only the Spirit of God that made what happened to Obado Obie to happen. Obado Obie wouldn't even have handled these criminals. I promise you that. No way, but it is Biafrans that will handle them. And we're already handling them one by one. And I keep telling people, this is not about me. This is not my struggle. This is not my battle. I'm very, very comfortable where I am. I don't have to do this. All of us here, most of us are comfortable. We don't have to do that. But because the love we have for our people, for our country, and we know that the freedom of our people is non-negotiable. And we know that the zoo government uses insiders. Fulani are afraid of us. Hausas are afraid of us. Yorubas are afraid of us. But they know that it is the insiders, the Biafrans inside, even inside Brigade, those are the people that we use to disrupt the freedom of Biafra. But they've discovered that all of them have a go 419, and that is how they will continue to fade out one day at a time until they are relegated in the trash can of Biafran history. And I promise you that's where they will end up. Thank you so much.
Thank you, fellow Biafrans, for watching. I appreciate everyone that has connected wherever you are connecting from. Today is Monday, and it is Sit at Home. Biafrans have spoken in a large number again. I thank you all for being part of this program. And in this very program today is a special one. We are going to show you how the Zoological Republic have busted. You know, they have been pushing lie and propaganda. They say we are enforcing sit at home. They said our prime minister is the one encouraging people to go and commit crime. They accuse our prime minister of terrorism. They accuse him of instigation in Biafra land. Today, what is happening? Today, the sit at home is tougher than ever. Even on the 23rd of December, every one of us know how 23rd of December is busy. 23rd of December is a busy moment in Biafra land. It is a time you don't joke with. But in Biafra land today, 23rd of December, it is total lockdown. Everywhere is locked down. Shops are locked down. Places are closed up. 23rd December, do you know what that means? This is another shocking referendum. Another shocking referendum. If you are still deceiving yourself and you think that Biafra has not come, you are a mad person. This platform where you are watching this program is the United States of Biafra platform. We are here to promote the United States of Biafra. We have declared our nation Biafra on the 29th of November 2024, and that declaration stands. Today, we are seeking for recognition and the restoration on ground. What you saw today in Biafra land is part of the restoration. The zoo has no authority over Biafran territory. All their politicians and representatives has no jurisdiction in Biafra land. And if they refuse to leave, we will force them to leave. Today, 24th of December, 23rd of December, 23rd, and everywhere is completely locked down. A busy time that everywhere is supposed to flush it. But unfortunately, Biafrans know what they want and they don't care. It is not time of celebration, it's a time of war. If you don't understand it, understand it is a time of war. Propaganda could not help them. Blackmail could not help them. Nothing could help them except the truth and revelations of the Biafran. And today, I want to play a video that comes from their own conventional media. You are going to see for yourself what is happening in Biafra land. The lie that have been told you. Finally, somebody on the ground is going to make a revelation on this platform today. Make this video go viral. Wherever you are watching from, make sure you share this video. Share it, let it go viral. Make sure you invite somebody. Don't keep it. Don't watch alone. Make sure you invite somebody. This is a very important video, so that the whole world will see their lie, their propaganda. They accuse our prime minister. False accusation. Lies. Today, even in the absence of our prime minister, they are the ones today seeing things for themselves. They are the ones confessing today. I want you to watch this video from beginning to the end. You'll be glad you did. Let us watch together and hear the report coming from a conventional media in the zoological republic called Nigeria. Let's watch.
Recently, there have been reactions to what Professor Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, said yesterday. A couple of persons are not, in support of the things he said, but some other persons are reasoning with what he said. According to Professor Chukwuma Soludo, the governor of Anambra State, he said that some elements are under the conscription or umbrella of the Biafran movement or Biafran agitation, and they're creating mayhem. He said a lot of cultists, criminals are perpetuating mayhem and terrorism. And because of that, there's going to be a new security outfit called Udogachi. Now, apparently, if you know as well, that the same thing is also going on in Imo State. The same operation outfit, security outfit from Iwago. Even there's also another one right now. Very recently, the outfit actually were able to apprehend some Ipop members. That's what we read about that. I think earlier today or yesterday, we read about that particular fact, that apparently some individuals in the southeast conscripted to be Ipop members have been caught by a particular group. This group or these security outfits are actually the ones responsible for being able to apprehend them, and they're from the state government. It's almost like Operation Udogachi. So it's the same thing that Anambra State governor is trying to implement in his state as well. But the question is, will this security outfit do due diligence? Will they be used, as a tool for political whims and caprices of these politicians? We don't know that yet. Now, in reaction to that, Joe Igbokwe actually made a statement, and we know him as one of the chieftains of the All Progressives Congress. He has stated that there is nothing like Biafra agitation in the southeast. He described the agitation as a scam and money-making venture for criminals. Igbokwe actually urged southeast governors to seek military intervention from President Bola Tinubu in curbing the activities of criminals masquerading as Biafra agitators in the region. Which other military intervention are you asking the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to deploy to the southeast? So you mean all the military checkpoints, the entire militarization in the southeast is not enough? You want the southeast leaders to ask President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to still conscript and deploy more military men to the southeast? In what sense? And again, you saying that there is nothing like Biafra agitation, that is a criminal scam. Well, right here in the studio, I actually have someone very, very interesting that will give us details. Her own purview to this development is Lolo Neka Chimeze, known as Madam Pinto. She's the President Igbo Women Assembly. Madam Pinto, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for having me once again, Esther.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, viewers, for staying put to contribute to this conversation.
Madam Vito, I hope you're not tired, because I know you came in early today, so thank you. I hope you're not tired, because it's essential for us to have this conversation. Joe Igbokwe coming to make this statement seems to resonate with what a lot of people are saying. Since Simon Ekpa was apprehended within the Finnish custody, a lot of persons are now taking a deep look into the whole Biafra agitation movement, the essence of self-referendum and freedom. And just yesterday, the same Chukwuma Soludo said, as it is now, as insecurity stands now in the southeast, specifically Anambra State, that even if Nnamdi Kanu is released, it doesn't guarantee that insecurity in the southeast will be quelled or it will be copped out, because these individuals have tasted blood. They're enjoying the money they're making out of the nuance of Biafran agitators or, the release of Nnamdi Kanu, that they will continue what they are doing regardless of Nnamdi Kanu's freedom. And now Joe Igbokwe is asking for more military deployment in the southeast, asking the southeastern governors to ask and beg President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for military intervention. He has completely denounced that there is nothing like Biafran agitation, that it's a scam. Would you blame him for saying things from that purview when you have persons from Uwazurike to Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa? And most of them right now are in custody, specifically Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu. So the entire Biafran struggle and the essence for independence, self-referendum and freedom, is it a dream that will ever be actualized, or is going to be something that everybody will just hold in their heart that at some point maybe we will get our utopia? What would you say to that?
Thank you very much, Esther. Now, the question is, have Joe Igbokwe ever stood to ask why the agitation? What caused the agitation in the first place? Is this agitation justified? That would be the first question. Is this agitation justified? Are these the first to agitate for something? Why are they not seeing this as people trying to say something, trying to complain? Now, if you look, Joe Igbokwe is not in the southeast. So I'm sure he has not traveled maybe in the last 1 year. And if he had traveled, either he traveled by flight, a private vehicle come and pick him to his house. And when he finished whatever it is he wants to do, he goes back. So he's not in any position to even tell
200 kali ganda lebih efektif daripada chemotherapy. My name is Bella Kirana.
And already, does Joe Igbokwe know what it means by a military being in a place? Anywhere military is, they will turn it into a war zone. Now, with the military in the southeast, you still want more militaries. Now, the question I'm going to put to Joe Igbokwe is, in the last 2 years, the military has been in the southeast. Has crime rate reduced? What have we achieved by the militarization of southeast? Have we even questioned the military? Why are they not combating crime? Even the ones there. So he's saying military. So, you know, some of us are pushing for the government to pull out the militaries. They are not
dismantle those checkpoints.
Yes, they are not. They are doing more harm than good. In fact, we've accused the military of having a hand in the crime rate. I am, as a journalist, I went and I covered and I saw things, and I've challenged them several occasions to deny my accusations. I've accused them of having a hand in kidnapping. I've accused them of having a hand in enforcing the sit at home. I met it. I saw it. I confronted them. They nearly killed me. You know, there is nothing like Ipop. There is nothing like Ipop. They've been crushed. Ipop is a movement. People bought into it out of their desperation to get a better deal from a country they felt they belonged to. 80% of Igbo people patronize Ipop in their hearts because they believe that these are the only group that is presenting their case. You won't see anybody on ground to say, am Ipop, to carry gun. Esther, I challenge even the military to come out and show us Ipop. You get it? It doesn't exist. So the militaries are there for a different mission. From my own understanding, okay, have Joe Igbokwe even queried the federal government? How can you push military to southeast and also engage a militant to southeast, to guide southeast? Have you ever seen all of them come out to question why Ansari Dekubo was engaged? And then you are still looking for criminals in the southeast. It doesn't make sense. Have Joe Igbokwe, I took it upon myself, when I covered the what is happening in the southeast, I took it upon myself to be joining vehicles to travel rather than flying, so that I can witness, yes, I can monitor this. And what the militaries are doing, I'm pushing our youths from southeast to youths are living in drones. Did Joe Igbokwe know? He doesn't. Joe Igbokwe is just saying things that will interest the federal government. He has no interest in the southeast. Joe Igbokwe has no family in the southeast. His children are not in the southeast. I've been to his house before. I know he has male children. Where are his male children? So he can say whatever he likes, because most of these politicians move their children abroad. And they're after what they will gain. You understand? So they are really not interested in the people. They are interested in their pocket. Their children are, when they grow old, their children will move them abroad. So their interest is not on the well-being or welfare of the Southeasterners. They are even using Southeast as a platform to get job, to get appointment from the government. So yes, that's why you see them say those things. Because me, that's on ground. My children are in Nigeria. I can afford to send them abroad. But I said, I now look at sending my children abroad. This is another slavery entirely. Because it is population that develops a nation. Now we keep on shipping our children. So Joy Igbokwe, if you go and check, probably his children and wife is abroad. Most of the commissioners in the South, even other local government, their families are abroad. So what are their interests in the South? Is their interest? Why would you occupy a position when you don't have interest? If your family is not in the Southeast, whose interests are you now protecting? Who are you ruling? You know, so these are the issues that people that present themselves as leaders from the Southeast are not actually leaders. They are just there to see whatever they can grab on the platform of Southeast. They have no single interest. For Joy Igbokwe, upon everything, all the evidences that has come out from Southeast, number one, we are querying the federal government.
无名指比食指长的人，你能挣多大的钱？听我说，今天我就要让你发财，划走。
Querying the federal government. Okay, now I'm putting this to Joy Igbokwe. Before the military moved to Southeast, we don't have this kind of insecurity in the Southeast.
It was peaceful.
Yes, it was very peaceful. All they do is sit at home. Now, why then did you move military to ease movement? Militaries were the ones that are, in fact, they now put Southeast under siege. I confronted and I said this to their face. I said, sir, from what I can see, after touring the whole Southeast is under siege by the military. I confronted them. I have the date and I have the checkpoint. If the military says it's a lie, let them bring out people that went into this confrontation with me at Osumo, where they nearly shot me. Because I discovered that they will extract information from citizens and give it out to kidnappers. Otherwise, why will a military man ask you question up to where you come from, up to your family? After looking at your passport, they will take your name and ask you up to your village, up to your family. Now we are looking for kidnappers. So they are the ones that control the road. They are the ones that see people coming from abroad. They will give out information. Have Joy Igbokwe taken time to go home, ask questions, and look at what is going on in the Southeast? If Southeast was peaceful before the military moved in, and the military they moved in, crime rates heightened. What do you say to that? And then we now discovered that the federal government on its own contracted a criminal. We all know a military. Let me not call him a criminal. A militant. Move him to Southeast. He came to national TV to say it. I was sure that even the media themselves played it down. Now the likes of Joy Igbokwe did not see it and did not query the federal government. And now Joy Igbokwe is talking about criminals in the Southeast when already the federal government himself sponsored these criminals. Now, the question I'm going to ask Joy Igbokwe, since he knows better, what kind of security do you think the person of Asari Ipop can move to Southeast? And you are looking for non-government. If you go to Southeast, you will see this sense of peace everywhere. Quiet, and you now look at people's face, those criminals, you want to see through them and you see busy people moving about their business. Now, what happens in the Southeast is a kind of a guerrilla attack. You see some people moving with Sienna attack and leave the state. The people committing this crime are non-state actors. Now, there are some criminals,
that's in contradiction to what Soludo said. Soludo said yesterday that 99% of those committing criminality in Anambra State, the Southeast, are Igbos, and that 77% of them are non-state indigenes. They're not part of the state. When they see the crime as it has exacerbated, then they now flock in, do what they want to do, and go.
Now, the question I would put to Soludo, if you say it's Igbos, his son, number one, because his son is Igbo.
What?
Yes, my son is Igbo. I've challenged people. If you keep on saying Igbos, even in the whole Nigeria knew that we have criminals everywhere, but the rate at which Igbos engage in criminal activities is less than any other state. In fact, I read a rating by Bawa, Daniel.
Daniel Bawa.
Southeast is the lowest in terms of crime, even Southwest. But the thing is that the press has a way of blowing everything that comes from Southeast out of proportion. It's like there is a plan to destroy Southeast. You get it? Now, if Soludo says they are Southeasterners, he should bring his son first.
The NBS yesterday released a report on how much families of victims who were kidnapped had paid from 2023 to 2024, and it said 2.2 trillion naira. Then in terms of region where the crime is high, the northeast, northwest, and then I think south before southeast. Southeast recorded
Southwest, the lowest.
No, southeast recorded the lowest.
Exactly.
As of this morning, the NBS is telling us that their website was hacked. That so whatever is released on that website should not be taken as fact. Okay. So a lot of conspiracy theory now came on board that just 24 hours or 28 hours or 42 hours that you released a report like this, which, like you said, and when it comes to the Southeast, there's this exacerbated exaggeration, which was clarified by the release of the NBS report. Now they're telling us that that report is not supposed, that we shouldn't take it serious, that their website was hacked. So would we say that the politicians are part of the conspiracy theories?
Now, the point is that I've said it time without number. The APC government that was constituted in 2015 have a plan for the Southeast. Because if you look at the activities of the former President Buhari, the Operation Python dance in the Southeast over youths that were agitating. You don't want to listen to them. In fact, Esther, it is on record that we've not really seen where the militaries and the Ipop or ECL or ECN have exchanged gun battle and they arrested youths, parade them on TV, and we see their faces and we confirm their families in the Southeast. I don't think it has happened.
他真的特别的猛啊，有皮肤问题的朋友真的要去试一下，图他试试看，你就知道。
Their faces and we confirm their families in the Southeast. I don't think it has happened. All you need here is whoever, in fact, if they arrest a thief, is an Ipop member. If you arrest a criminal, is an Ipop member. So I don't know, how do you know they are Ipop members? An Ipop member can be a thief. That doesn't mean he was a thief because he's an Ipop member. If somebody steals, call him a thief. If somebody kidnaps, and Ipop said deny involvement, you don't put it on them. Ipop has come out uncountable times to say, we don't do this. So when you catch a criminal, please call him a criminal. Like now, we have OPC in the Southwest. I have never, most of these boys are OPC members. I have never had any criminal caught before, and you now refer them to be OPC members. But the point, like you said, our politicians are the ones that are blowing these things out of proportion. Because why? They are trying to suppress the popularity of Ipop. And now, in so doing this, they don't even care what it does to Southeast, the harm it brings to Southeast. But out of their desperation to suppress this group, unfortunately, the way they're going about it will be very difficult. Because the more you try to suppress them, the more people are, getting interested in them. Because people on ground knew, in reality, that that's not the case. They knew that those that are harassing them are the militaries. If you go from Osumohu to Nnewi, now you can't move on that houses. Not because of unknown gunmen, not because of military. People are more afraid of the military than whatever you say that is. We think that even the unknown gunmen and whatever is fiction.
It's fiction.
It's fiction because you will not really witness it as it were. They tell us whatever they want us to hear, and the press carries it immediately and runs with it. For instance, the kidnapping in the Southeast, 80% of these reports is that the Fulani herdsmen are the ones that engage in this kidnapping. Most of the time. Have you seen the military move to the bush to push them out? Why have they been silent on the activities of the Fulani herdsmen? In Enugu, the other time, 2 farmers were killed on their farm. And
that was the day after some Nepal was
yes. And these people we kill occupy where they killed, and the so-called military will not move.
All right, Madam Pinto, I don't know how, because let's not generalize these things. I saw an X, I think 3 days ago, where one young man was apprehended. It was in the Southeast, and one of the persons that actually steal, kidnap, and all of that. And he was confessing, to some things, some crimes, and the names of some of his group members and what they do. some persons will reason with what Soludo said, that some young persons who have been kept redundant and nothing to do have used the whole Biafran struggle, knowing how a lot of Nigerians have sold themselves, especially those in the southeast. They've sold themselves into that ideal, and so they're utilizing that to their advantage. Soludo said a lot of the southeasterners have been brainwashed to believe that the agitators, or according to him, the criminals, are their heroes. Some persons are genuinely in the struggle for the attainment of the Southeast freedom. But the Chief of Defense Staff in a Monitor television program recently told the anchor that it is obvious that Ipop will deny their involvement in the criminality going on in the southeast, and that the reason why they will say so is because a couple of them, or the back end, those who are financing, are very intelligent. They're educated persons. That it's not like how you have it in the north, where some of them are not educated, which drew criticism from several quarters. How do you know that the financiers of these persons committing this mayhem are not educated? People sit down and conspire to create chaos, and you say they're not educated enough for that kind of chaos to actually take place. So for him, he described that, this is what he says. He said, in contrast to profiles of bandits in the northeast, who he described as largely illiterate, with those in the southeast who are more aware of the implications of their actions, he argued that this motivates the Ipop members to deny their involvement in order to evade arrest and prosecution.
Okay.
So how do you describe that?
Okay, the point is that I think they're making excuses on why they should stay put in the southeast. In the first place, they've been there for the past 2 years.
Yes.
The more they stay, the higher the crime rates. Now, before they moved in, there was nothing like crime. Is he saying that Ipop were not in the east? Ipop has been very much around since 2015. And from 2015 to 2023, 2022, or 2021, when they now move military, Southeast has been very peaceful. Now that brings to question, why did the crime rates now become higher when the military move in? That's the question we are going to ask Oga Army Man. Why did so are you saying that the Ipop went to sleep, or because the militaries were there now, they now try to engage in criminal activities to blackmail the militaries? It doesn't make sense. We all have sense. Now, I think the military should sit down and evaluate and look at who are these Ipop. What are their mission? What are their vision? What do they stand for? Before you now start branding them as criminals. When people kidnap in the south north, they don't say it's Boko Haram. Call a criminal a criminal. When you catch a criminal in the southeast, deal with him as a criminal. And then please, these criminals, we don't get to see them. When you catch a criminal, hand them over to police to try.
But now that Chukuma Soludo is validating what the Chief of Defense Staff is saying, which culminated to Joe Igbokwe's reaction and response that he's been saying this thing since, that there is nothing like Biafran agitation, but it's a scam. And then the whole recent issue with Uwazurike and Simon Ekpa, the same traits or the same trail at which they were able to curry support and all. How do we break this rhetoric? How do we dismantle it?
Okay, now, if you release Nnamdi Kanu today, let's do a challenge, like Nnamdi challenged. I think former governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, made these comments before, and he said he's going to do a 3 million march. A 3 million march. And of course, they do their mobilization. When they started the march, Nnamdi Kanu arrived in Owerri, unannounced. Those marching with Rochas abandoned him and joined Nnamdi Kanu. People left their shop unlocked and joined Nnamdi Kanu. Now, if Soludo, politicians unfortunately don't know the extent and the magnitude or the effect of the things they say. Because out of their desperation to retain their job, they say anything and they don't know the harm it does. They don't face reality. Let them release Nnamdi Kanu today. Let Soludo call a meeting. Even his own commissioners will abandon him to go and listen to Nnamdi Kanu. Why does this young man draw a lot of crowd? Now, the only thing that people will try to fake is something that will draw people to them. Simon Ekpa was able to do what he did, whatever they said he did, because some people are desperate. They are looking for leaders. They now had to follow Simon Ekpa when Nnamdi Kanu was in prison. Are they looking at, okay, look at the number of people following the so-called Simon Ekpa and the number of people following Soludo, even as a governor. So we must face reality until the southeastern leaders, both the leaders, the traditional leaders, and the political leaders, sit down and analyze this Ipop and understand and ask and know what are they asking for. What they are asking for, is it off? What are their reasons? When you even talk about the agitation, these people are agitating in their mind. They are not on the road. They are not on the street. Now, most like Soludo said, they made the mistake of engaging a militant, moving him. In fact, our problem started the moment Asindikuwa was engaged and he moved criminal to Southeast. Now, I think the federal government has finished using him. They abandoned him. What happens to his boys he brought to Southeast? So they went on loose and started, of course, committing. Yes. And then the militaries know them. They equally use them. Yes. Asari said, I quote Asari, the federal government engaged me to guide Southeast. And we were working hand in hand with the military. This kind of grievous accusation, did you say the military arrest him?
No.
He said the federal government engaged us. Did you see the federal government did not even respond? But the military came to play it down and said there was nothing like that. But you saw their men. His men have checkpoints in Imo State. So what did you do to that? How can you engage in a region that was peaceful? Then the governors were so desperate. And they said, okay, people were afraid. Esther, when this thing started, I covered sit at home on my own as a journalist 4 times. Round the whole Southeast, I was on ground. Now, why did I cover it? I went to Enugu and the sit at home was, I went to Enugu. I had to go to Buka, local places to eat. And I engaged people in come. I realized that if there were 10 people, 9 will be in support of the sit at home, and 1 will argue. So I decided to cover it and watch how it is done. Then I became alarmed. One day we were going for traditional marriage. I was in front of a vehicle and 3 aged women were at the back. I raised that issue. I was shocked to see how these mothers supported their children. How can we? This one said, my son could not get a job. They were just complaining. And they said, I quote, since they say we should be staying at home, that one is good. We are not at risk of being shot. Let us stay at home. Let them release that young man. And I said, any movement you see mothers supporting their children, that's a problem. Now, instead of the leaders to sit down and look at what to do, what are the agitation of the youth, and present it to the federal government, the rest of Nigerians were willing and ready to listen, to see what we can do to pacify these people. That was why they supported P2P in large number. Let us see what we can do to include these people into the system, and then presenting it. But because of their interest, political interest, they want to protect their interest. They were not looking for a way. They saw Ipop as in competition with them. They were looking for a way to suppress Ipop. They now brought military. Are the guys that some people want to come out, but they were afraid. Esther, I can assure you, I thought Southeast, there was no, you won't see anybody say they're enforcing. Channels covered it, Arise covered it. You will see the road open and people will be in their houses. Now, I agree that probably 70% are in support of the sit at home and 30% we are not in support. And you want to bring the military so that those that want to support will now, come out. That was what they told us. That was what the military told us that they want to do. Esther, the moment the military entered Southeast, it turned bloody. It turned to something else. Even you as a citizen, if you are moving on the road, when you approach the military checkpoint, there's this sense of fear they will put in you. They will make people to come down from their vehicles.
Excuse me, sir. How many A do you get in SMM?
9A.
Which secondary school you attend?
SMK.
They will make people to come down from their vehicles. to move.
I want to ask something, because it has gotten to a point, like you said, that a conversation needs to be had and looked into. Who are these persons that are called Ipop? Is Ipop different from Biafra? Because for somebody to just come out and completely erode it to say that generally the Biafran struggle or the Biafran umbrella is a scam, and that he's backing what Professor Chukwuma Soludo is saying with the introduction of Operation Udogachi, so that they could clear out these criminals. A couple of people feel that is a means through which he wants to gain another possible support ahead of 20.
Of course, he did it for P2P now. So
2025.
This will be the first
time.
So,
and then now he's advising the Southeast governors to seek military intervention to curb the criminalities. So he made the call in a statement while he was supporting what Chukwuma Soludo said, that the entire ordeal, the entire conscript and idea of Biafra and Ipop and all of that is a scam completely taken up by some elites who intend to use a vulnerability of the, let's say, rate of poverty or vacuum in the Southeast, to possibly put themselves in a higher ground or whatever it is that they intend to achieve. Now, here is the thing. You made a statement. You said there was a time there was a match during the administration of Okorocha, that is the former governor of Imo State, and that a lot of persons who were by the side or behind Okorocha went to where Nnamdi Kanu was. Is it possible that the politicians are afraid of the kind of, let me not use the word power, influence that he will?
That's the point.
And that if he comes out, they may literally not even give reverence to their leaders, but give reverence to him. A situation where, for someone who is not a political leader, but somehow he encompasses an embodiment that is almost divine somehow, in the Southeast. That if he gives an order, they will rather go with the order that he gives than whatever it is the state governors give. So it is a deliberate attempt to keep him incarcerated. Could that be what it is?
No, the point is that Nnamdi Kanu is not rough.
Okay.
Do you know why these people come out to say whatever they like? Igbos don't kill easily. Igbos are not given to wasting blood easily. That's why they are saying all these things. Yoruba leaders will not say this about OPC. And Hausa leaders cannot say this about Boko Haram. There are things you can't say. But because Igbos, even the Ipop are not rough. If Ipop are truly rough, they can't be making these statements now. They can't. Now, Nnamdi Kanu is passionate about the situation of their people. I think they uncovered certain things which we are now looking at. It might be true.
Okay.
Nnamdi Kanu said there is a plot to hand Southeast over to the Fulanis. Now, from the activities of the federal government, by trying to create a sense of fear in the lives of the people, so that people will be leaving the Southeast, that allegation is not far from being true. Why? You move in a place that has been deemed to be the most peaceful, have low crime rates. They have their peace. They said, okay, people are now saying, is it not even better? Let the military go. Let us be having our Monday sit at home, but have peace. That's what people are now praying for. Now, you now move military with police. It's not enough. You secretly moved an armed militia within that region. Can you tell me what the federal government stands to achieve by moving a militia? One thing, they want to use that militia to blackmail Ipop. So when those people go and shoot, they will say Ipop is shooting. They want to enforce sit at home. Now, when they now go to now why I moved to now cover it the last time was when they begin to shoot in weddings. Traditional wedding. I mean, it doesn't make sense. What has Ipop got to do? There were
even burials.
Burials. So the thing is that to put fear so that people will stop going home. So what Nnamdi Kanu was alleging, we are now saying it has to be true that federal government from 2015 till now has an evil plan against the South. Otherwise, are you saying that the mere Ipop that we've not really seen word arms is more powerful than the military that will make you move a military?
But are
to
we
the
saying
Southeast?
that there are no indeed criminal elements exacerbating mayhem, perpetuating mayhem in the South under the umbrella of this Ipop or
No,
Biafra agitation?
I stand here I challenge them to prove it. Bring them. I see. You know why I'm saying this, Esther? I said I've been on ground. I was nearly killed. All right. During the August sit-at-home, Simon Ekpe declared for 2 weeks. Esther, I was in the east for 5 days, moving around. You won't see any youth in any way.
Pantang sentuh terkeras panjang, bah. Alamak, abang macam mana?
In any way. In the southeast, you see people going about their business. At least I thought from Imo to Anambra to Enugu to Abia. You know, if you come to Lagos and come to Oshodi and see the Aburus, there will be this sense of fear that, rough guys are here. My sister, you will not see any rough-looking people that looks like people that will do anything. Now, the place you will find fear and the way they treat the people are the military checkpoints. They will intimidate people. There was an altercation I had with them in Owerri. They asked me, they asked us to come down, which I came down. I came from Lagos that day. I came down. I was walking on, I never knew. So when I got to where an army man was, he said, Madam, cross to the other side. I said, oh, and I realized I was the only person walking on that express start. And I'm trying to cross over. I saw that people were walking on poto water. And I asked the military man, you want me to fast, Madam? I said, Oga, is this what you have brought? You've turned us to slaves. I should wear my white shoe to go and match water. For what? Number one, you asked us to come down from the vehicles. And now you want me to go and mess myself. Why not you tell me to go and roll myself in that one? I'm not going there. The man, it was, see, I said, I will not go there. I'm going to pass. You asked me to come down. And I've come down and you want me to go and join poto. It was, now people just, all eyes was on us. One of their leader came out to confront. I said, Madam, what is the issue? He said, Madam, I said, Oga, I will not go there. Is this what you are brought here to do? I thought they brought you here to protect us and to ease movement. You've not kept us under siege. My sister, not the Ipop, they do that one. It's military. So I said, and
so you don't believe that even some of these elements, some of these persons that we see that they apprehended somehow, somewhere that they say, oh, these are the guys, they use Ipop to whatever. You don't believe that no individual that they caught there is responsible for anything that has to...
Somebody that consult crime rates, you will see that Southeast will stay below. Because people move about. That is even why it's paying me more. People move about their businesses. You can hardly... Those that attack, they attack in guerrilla style. They will come in, do what they want to, disappear. Because if you go to an area where that attack happened, you won't see any rough looking, they've disappeared. You understand? So like Toludo said, there might be people from other places, but what I'm saying is that these people are criminals. Treat them as criminals. Don't stay in the disguise of Ipop. These people are agitating. Listen to the agitation and address it. It's different from criminal activities. Because these criminal activities happens all over Nigeria.
Is it possible that the Southeast governors themselves are not speaking in one voice? The last time that there was a call for the demilitarization in the Southeast, that is for all the military camps and checkpoints there to be dismantled, the only governor who spoke, on behalf of that was Alex Uti. We've not heard other governors speak and say, okay, you know what? The militarization in the Southeast is overwhelming, is frustrating businesses, activities, and all of that. Can you guys reduce your guys or your men? So what is going on with the Southeast governors having one voice in tackling this?
I will tell you something that will shock you and shock the whole Nigerians.
Okay, shock.
After I encountered the militaries in Osumuhu, when they now interrogated me up to where I was going to, after taking my passport, checking it, and now when they now ask me my kindred Gogo, it now struck me. I told them to their face, I said, so you are the ones that have been collecting information and giving to kidnappers. Otherwise, what is your business with my family? Here is Osumuhu. I'm going to Newi South. And you want to collect information up to my family. So you guys did not just put us under siege. You are also involved in criminality. They went mad. They nearly shot. I never knew I would leave that place. They seized my car key. Yes. It got to the point where I told my brother, let us turn. I'm not following this route. They will call those guys to come and kidnap him. They are involved in kidnapping. They seized my key. And I told my brother, leave the key for them, let's go. So I think they went and called some of their maybe leaders or whatever. They drove and said, Madam, go and take your key. I said, no, okay, let them keep the key. If you see the way they harassed, there was one elderly man, that man should be around 74 years. The way they were harassing the man, the military, go in, come down. I said, is this what you are brought to do? How can the people come and embrace you? When you came here, it's as if they went there for a different mission. They are not there to stop any sit at home. If there is any crime, I quote, if there is any crime going on around where the militaries are, call them, they will not answer you. It happens in the south.
Some of the residents have complained on several occasions.
Now, I went home after that ordeal. I went home, I couldn't hold my anger. I went to a place where people gather. And I was narrating my ordeal. A young man said, in that place, they seized my machine yesterday. If you let anybody go to Nnewi South and tell an Okada man, I want to go to Olo, take me with Okada. They will tell you they will never pass that Osumuhu. Why? It's not because of unknown gunmen. It's not because of military. The way they harass them. So I called the PG of that local government, and I said, Oga, I don't think there is no Ipop anywhere. I think the militaries are the ones. You know what the man told me? Madam, we know.
The new folding revolver by Standard Manufacturing has been officially released today. No documents or I
think the militaries are the ones. You know what the man told me? Madam, we know. Our hands are tied. Now, our fear is, since they brought in and started the Kibor, if you pull them, now if we put pressure to pull them, they will now pour criminals, and they will say it's because you removed us. So that is the fear of most of the governors. Yes. Wow. It's like they did not know. It's like the administration of our former president was waiting, looking for a way to move into Southeast, to do whatever he wants to do. Probably, I think the war is still on in the Southeast. The war, what the militaries are doing is indirectly carrying on a war in guerrilla style in the Southeast. They are not there for any Ipop. Now, Ipop is now an excuse for them to now go in, and they've stayed put. Another thing that will shock you now, I read where a lawyer petitioned the president that one militant is piling up arms. Now, my suspicion is we have uncovered Ipop. They are going to arm another military to move them to Southeast. So what is happening in the Southeast? The governors knows that the federal government has a hand in it. The militaries, I challenge them. The list is they will put me in jail. I challenge them. They should leave Ipop alone. They should release Nnamdi Kanu. Now, if they say it's Ipop, let them release Nnamdi Kanu. Let us chat with him. Let us as mothers beg him to let us look for a way to present this case. But there is a case that Ipop is presenting before the federal government, and they have to listen. They must listen. Because how come in the last 3 years, the military has not prosecuted anybody as Ipop member? They're caught. The next thing they shoot. They shoot. Those people that are shooting are people's children, our children. Now, this shooting is making our youth to leave Southeast in drones. What is their plan? So the governors and the PGs and the leaders' hands are tied. They are afraid.
So you completely disagree with what Joe Igwe is saying. Do you also disagree with the analysis, the synopsis that Chukuma Soludo gave in saying that 99% of those committing the thuggery, kidnapping, and all of that in Anambra are Igbos? Do you disagree with what he said? And do you also agree with the Operation Udogachi, which is to commence next year?
I disagree with him totally. In the Southeast, if you move from Onitsha down to Umuahia, those occupying that houses are the Hausas.
Okay.
Right? Most of them speak Igbo. They live in the East now. They speak Igbo. So if you are using, they catch them and they speak Igbo to judge. It's like in Lagos, catching somebody because he speaks Yoruba, use it to judge that is Yorubas. Now let us learn how to call criminals, and then punish them as criminals. The guy that tried to murder Donald Trump He's an American.
Yeah.
They called him a criminal. They investigated, and they realized that the person's funding an American citizen is from Iraq. They said the guy said he's an Iraqi or Iranian official or whatever. Now, how can you catch a thief in the southeast and you brand him Igbo? Now you are also calling your son a criminal because your son is an Igbo person. So please let them, if they catch criminals in the southeast, let them treat them as criminals and not they are Igbos.
Or place them under the umbrella of Ipop or Biafrans.
Yes, then coming to the security, Soludo wants to raise. Is Soludo saying that the militaries are in the southeast? The police, checkpoints all over the place, plus they are started the Kibon. Militia and the Ebubaga. That's 4. This 4 group of security personnel has been in the southeast in an area that has no business with crime. Before these people moved in, there was no crime. They cannot combat crime until he now raised another Udo Gachi, Abi Udo Gachi. Please, let Anambra and beg Soludo, we've had enough, except if he will say, okay, the militaries, I can see that you can no longer combat the crime. Federal government, could you please withdraw the military? Let us raise another security. That's number 1. Number 2, please, he should not raise another Ebobago.
Okay.
Don't create a monster that will swallow you. You know what they don't understand is, these their positions aspires. He will come down and become a citizen. And whatever monster you create today, we befall you. But the only way it's annoying me is that most of these people will move their families abroad. You now see that they have no interest in the southeast. They are using southeast as a platform.
Stressed out trying to clean your car? Discover
About it. Before the military moved in, we have vigilantes. When they moved in, they disarmed all the vigilantes in the southeast, especially in Imo State. They disarmed all the vigilantes. That was why this crime rate was high. So what Soludo needs to do is to call about it. Before the military moved in, we have vigilantes. When they moved in, they disarmed all the vigilantes in the southeast, especially in Imo State. They disarmed all the vigilantes. That was why this crime rate was high. So what Soludo needs to do is to call the PGs of communities for a meeting. Let them raise vigilantes. I must give kudos to the government of Enugu State.
Okay.
Do you know why? The only thing you hear from Enugu is kidnapping. You don't get to hear most of these things. I must give kudos to former governor of Enugu State, Ugwanya, and the current governor, Mba. If you go to Enugu, you will see what is called neighborhood watch. That neighborhood watch, and I'm using this opportunity to beg Enugu people to fund that neighborhood watch. Do a fundraising, raise their salary so that we can get more responsible people to that outfit. They raise this neighborhood watch. Each village, each community raises based on their citizens. They inculcate their citizens into the neighborhood watch. So a stranger coming in, they know. And they know that they are protecting themselves and their family. Now, when you go to Bayelsa and bring someone to come and protect somebody in Anambra State, what will be that person's interest? Is to make money. If it means to steal. And then you know the kind of a person, this person you are bringing. So if he is honest, if it's about security, he knows what to do. He should equip the vigilantes. Let each community raise a vigilante group that will protect them and see if the crime rate will not be down, and let them up the salary so that more responsible people. You cannot inculcate criminals to be securities. You are worsening the situation. Now, this man will raise this group, use them to win his election. What becomes the aftermath? Now, the federal government moved Asidi Kibo to the southeast, got what he wants, left the man. He was not paying the man again. That was what caused their fight. That was how we knew. Asadi came to Channel TV to blow it open that this is what is going on in the southeast. Now they are not paying the guy. He cannot maintain those criminals. They moved there. What happens? They took over arms, to start committing mayhem in the southeast. So Soludo will also raise another group again to also move in Anambra and to worsen the security situation in Anambra State. So he should use vigilantes. And I'm also extending to Hope Uzodinma. Please remove your bag. It's not working now. The army is not working. Let them put the army and or whatever. Let them raise the vigilante that was there from the beginning. And there was peace.
All right, Madam Pinto, thank you so much. Let's take some reactions. The number to call is 0700 903 903 903 0700 903 903 903, and the WhatsApp number is 0817 1756 338. Hello. All right, you can call 0700 103 0700 903 903 903. That's the number to call, and send your WhatsApp messages to 0817 1756 338. Hello, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Hello, good morning. This is Ben from USA.
Now you have heard the truth about the situation in the zoo. You have heard everything yourself. What else are you expecting, and what
I'm fine.
do you think? What do you think about what you just heard? For a long time, we have been speaking about this issue. But when we talk, they say we are lying. They call us noisemakers. They call us all kinds of names. Now you have seen the revelation on their own media. For a very long time, we have been talking about this issue. Nobody is taking it serious. They never take us serious. When we talk, they call us troublemakers. But today, you can see what is happening in the Zoological Republic. You can see evidence flying right, left, and center. You can see the atrocities of the zoo coming in the open. In their own conventional media, that is where it is happening, and everybody is watching it. I thank Chukwu Okeke that the Biafrans are already out of the zoo. We are already out. This is not the case of saying, oh, we are already out. We are out from the contraption already. And today, all we are asking is recognition from other countries of the world. The job we are doing today is to make sure that the whole world pay attention to our plight. We will never stop. It doesn't matter their blackmail. It doesn't matter their propaganda. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, we are going to fight them until the last man standing. And our freedom will definitely come. Because this declaration of Biafra that you saw, if you take it for a joke, at your own risk, because we cannot take back our words. Every single thing you have heard today is the truth and nothing but the truth. This report is coming from the zoo directly. If I were the one saying, he say, oh, maybe he made it up. Oh, maybe he formed the story. But you watch it by yourself. At least you saw the videos by yourself. You sat there and you watched. You saw by yourself. You heard it by yourself. The atrocities of the Zoological Republic and their lie. And I bet you, we are looking for our recognition and we are fighting for a just cause. The time has come for us to go home. Let's listen to this.
The United States of America is a steadfast supporter of the principles that people have a right to choose their own form of government.
Absolutely clear. There is no room for double standards. International law must be protected always and everywhere without any ambiguity in Ukraine, in the Middle East, and everywhere in the world. This is our global.
In these annual debates, we need to remind ourselves of the principles that led to the founding of the United Nations. Among those are peaceful coexistence and self-determination of peoples.
There was hope back then, and some are also hoping now, that territorial concessions to the aggressor would bring peace. History has proved that giving up territory for peace has too often led and will lead to further aggressions. To achieve peace, we will have to learn from our own mistakes. Failure to do so would bring a colossal cost in human lives across the globe.
The solution of a conflict, in our view, has to be, like some of my colleagues have already said, based on a comprehensive, just and lasting, enduring peace, founded on the principles of international law and the United Nations Charter.
Emerging economies with the goal of finding a path to peace. Canada will always be a strong voice for peace, democracy, freedom, and the international rule of law.
Chile, my country, as a small nation in the south of the world, with a population of 20 million inhabitants, understands that only adherence to international law and the protection of human rights can ensure peace.
Freedom is an inalienable right and a natural entitlement that cannot be denied to any people.
Nigeria, having advocated in 2024 for the independent state of Palestine, should be bold enough to also accept the outcome of the Biafra self-referendum in peace or in pieces.
You have heard it from our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. All we are asking is for our own nation. There is nothing more, nothing less. We are asking for the independent state of Biafra.
All
That
right,
is what we are looking for. That is all we ask for. We are not asking for anything apart from the independent state of Biafra. And no matter what they do, no matter their lie and propaganda, they will never stop us. We will continue to pursue the independence of the Biafran people as we have already gotten it. We will continue to hold on to the declaration that has been made, and there is no going back. Biafra has been declared, and we will do everything humanly possible to make sure that we restore Biafra on the ground. The process of the restoration of Biafra has started. It does not matter how they try to delay it. It does not matter their propaganda and blackmail. It does not matter what they say. We are going to continue to do what we are supposed to do until we are free. There is no going back. Let's watch this.
To let them know, we're going to let our women know that nobody has the right to demean women in the United States of Biafra. When we all here have heard people use comments like, yes, like that. That shows us, even though it hurts, but that shows even the average Biafran and women that are following our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, that is out of bounds, that they've crossed the red line. And when anything that our Prime Minister, Simon Ekpa, cannot say, and you have some mediocres, that's what I call them, using words to demean our women, using words that are below par to refer to any Biafran woman, I know that our Prime Minister will throw them in the trash can. And that is what we are going to do. So again, we hear that message. Biafran men and women hear that ugly message from those that claim they are following our Prime Minister. Meanwhile, they were planted to destroy what we are doing. And it is the task of each and every one of us here to make sure that Biafra land is a land where respect for men and women exists. Respect, equity, justice, inequality exists. That is what the United States of Biafra is going to stand for. Anybody following individuals that believe that therefore cannot talk to them, those crop of individuals do not belong to the current Biafra we are building. Nobody will bring them near. Not why some of us are here. So I'm going to get back in touch with you or give me a call in the next 24 to 48 hours. And we already have a plan in place. Our young men and women, nobody will demean you. Nobody will demean you. You all saw our attorney who confirmed our redeclaration. She's a young lady like some of you, and she knows what is playing out. She stood in Finland and declared that this generation, the next generation, can never, ever be undermined by any individual who believes because he is a man, he can undermine the woman in Biafra land. That will never happen. We will chase them so far from the leadership of this United States of Biafra. Thank you so much, and give me a call in the next 12 to 40.
Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everyone. Please keep on holding firm and support the Deputy Prime Minister, Dr. Ngozi Oravweze. Support the United States of Biafra so that we can carry our message to the ends of the world. Thank you for being part of this message. I'm going to be here again tomorrow by the special grace of God. Thank you and stay safe.